and it has seen before then, they had makeshift ports. Of course, they had palm produce, a lot of produce that moved on. Unfortunately, slave trade too. The Bonny ports, the Bonny, then it was just makeshift. Abonima, Brass, these are all makeshifts. Opobo, these are all makeshifts that were going on. But the first developed port was the port, Sea of Port Harcourt, the port of Port Harcourt City. And from where the city developed, they developed the city. And that's why if you go to Old Port Harcourt Township, Old GRA, Mile 1, Mile 2 Diob, you can see that the way they are developed, you will know that it wasn't just didn't come from the thing. There was a deliberate, intentional way of developing. Now, River State, as we know today, has grown a lot in all scopes. And then Bonny, of course, has 23 local governments. Bonny is one of the 23, as we know. Now, I will tell you, because my topic is investment opportunities, not only in Bonny, but in River State. I was chairman of West African Glass Industry, which was owned by the Eastern Nigerian government before the war. And then after the war, it became Western. Then it was called Nigerian Glass Company. So it became at Trans-Amadi. Trans-Amadi was also developed. Land was acquired by the colonial government, but the Eastern Nigerian government planned what we are seeing in Trans-Amadi industrial layout today. A beautiful industrial layout that is still there. Port Harcourt, of course, the River State has two ports, One and the main Port Harcourt main, two airports. One of them is international. Many industries all around the One area, all around the Port Harcourt, and Trans-Amadi. Why you can say, why am I talking about all these things that they have? Yes, we are talking about investment opportunities. Investment, they say investment capital is shy. It will go to where there are obvious benefits. There are obvious things that will attract. It's like ants and sugar. When you have ants, when you have sugar, ants will naturally come. So there are certain things you must have that investment money will come, because investment money is somebody's private sector money, and the private sector person, even if he's a philanthropist, even if it is, he will not put it, there is none for profit. But if it's for profit, there are certain things he must have that he will come for, that will ease his business. So as I said, the ports, seaports, airports, the industries, and of course, it's in the agro belt of Nigeria. And then agro belt, of course, the palm belt of Nigeria. I mean, at the time, Port Harcourt, that Elele, Axis, and Obima, and all that, all over ports. Our agro is, palm is all over, and ports, the agro too is all over. But that's the belt, and we are part of the belt. So it's the agreeable, and today, beyond all this maritime or shipping and then agro, of course, God blessed us also with the oil and gas. And today, you can say arguably the oil and gas capital of Nigeria is River State. And then, of course, the gas capital of Nigeria is Bonny, with LNG and all other value chain businesses that are already there. And we also remind ourselves that when crude oil was discovered in 1956 in Oloibiri, present-day Bayelsa or Old River State, the export in 1958 was done at the Bonny terminal of River State. So Bonny had a lot of significance in this. So you can see that from the above, all these scenarios I've painted, both for River State and for River State and Bonny, there are a lot of opportunities that are there for the River State and indeed Bonny. If I will go with River State, the River State, it's a shipping. It's a shipping area. I mean, shipping and maritime. I will tell you, anytime I get to Singapore, I marvel. Singapore is a dot in the ocean, Indian Ocean, just like Bonny, you are Bonny. Singapore. Singapore today is in the first world. What is it? Is just a transit camp between people coming from Europe, ships coming from Europe to to Asia, the Indian subcontinent and Asia. And it has gone. Everybody hear about Singapore, Singapore. Singapore is Bonny indeed. It's just Bonny. So you can now see, and shipping and maritime is a huge business. Apart from the ports that will evacuate either import and export, the ship, because of its location, any ship around passing around the Atlantic, about the Gulf of Guinea, gets bad, needs water, needs repairs, will come to Bonny. So it is not just the shipping, but shipbuilding, ship repairs. Bonny has that. River State has that. Then agro business, River State. So, and then the agriculture business is not just agri business. It is agri and manufacturing some of the thing. Because the truth is, it is the time of raw primary produce being exported is getting over. So around the ports, there will be small factories, have some values, and evacuate the produce. So you have semi-finished products or fully finished products. So you can see agro business is going to be a big deal. Growing up in Port Harcourt, my father worked in NPA. I came to see, I was born in, 1958. So all of the early 60s, I saw shipping, Port Harcourt thriving as a shipping market. Then Apple Road and Industrial Road and everything. That was a big deal. Oil and gas have not brought the needed money because at that time it was shipping. You have the Elder Dempster, the Rain, the Panalpina, the JB Oliver, the UACs, the BZs, and all that. Those were the things that were on. And they were big cities. So you can imagine what we could have been today. Today, whatever Singapore is something that River State and of course Bonny could have been. So that's shipping and maritime. And we also talked about the agro business for River State, and then tourism and hospitality business. Again, how can you talk? It's a beautiful thing with lots of rivers and coastal parts. That's why we travel to the Caribbean for. That's why we travel to Maldives for. That's what we travel to Seychelles for. So Zanzibar, I travel a lot to such places, and sometimes I ask, come. And here I come. It's like my village now. But that's it. But we are paying pounds and dollars to go there instead of coming here. So River State has a lot. And as I said, also River State talk about the transformed industrial layout, the manufacturing and all that. Of course, when you are doing this, people have to service them. So you are talking about real estate. Real estate will service them. The ICT business will service them. A lot of things will service these things. So a lot of things will service. So we service these things. So you can see that a lot of things are on. And then industrial fishing or trawling. So you can see that that's another area of business that is on that River State will have. Now, when you talk of all this, so all of these ones have their value chain. All of these ones you mentioned have their own value chain that people things can do. And whatever you talk about, whatever you talk about, all these ones, as I said, all these businesses I outlined or investment opportunities I've outlined have their value chain. So you can see, and I said, each time I go to Nassau, the capital of Bahamas, I will use vehicle. I'll walk around, use my, big pass Bonny, big pass Abonima or Buguma. No, it looked like in the old place, that is how it is. And yet you can see everybody talk about those islands. The capital of Trinidad and Tobago, the same thing. If you go there, people travel for such things. So a lot can be done, a lot we can do. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't talked about all this. It can be done, but we need political will at all levels. Political will at all levels to get it done. The providing the ease of business, doing business opportunities at the background. And then, you see, if you do that, and of course, infrastructure, some basic, it doesn't have to be big, high-tech infrastructure, some basic infrastructure, roads and all that, rural, and people will come. Ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate Bonny Chamber of Commerce for what they are for this. And then maybe, as I said, maybe this, what if they get it right, River State will get it right. Once again, thank you so much and congratulations to the people of Bonny, the king, chiefs, youths, people of Bonny, and the business community, and then the Chamber of Commerce of Bonny. Thank you so much. Done.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Member. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Doctor has in just a few minutes highlighted a whole lot. Just in summary, he ran through the Port Harcourt and existing and gave us the background. The good news is he seems to be a pre-independence person. So he has given us a background from first experience, not I heard. He mentioned about Port Harcourt being the coal city and then the industrial layouts, which we have at Transomadi. We can see the skeletal parts, those of the millennium era. He talked about Port Harcourt having two ports, which is on air and the main port. He talked about the airport's advantages and then the agro belts, which is mainly the palm oil back in the days, and now moved into the now, which is the oil and gas. From what he has mentioned from his presentation, he highlighted the advantage that River State has, which is the shipping and maritime, citing examples with the Singapore being a dot nation and then just a convergence between Europe and Asia. Talked about the real estate and other islands. That's River State in total. Then coming down to Bonny with its significance, he moved on to mention the highlights and the great advantages of Bonny, dating back at the 16th century when it was a port of the slaves, and now the current port, which is operating for the oil and gas. He mentioned a very good highlight that the vessels still converge at Bonny, meaning that for shipbuilding, Bonny is still an epicenter. It is the largest West African gas nation, and Bonny has that good potential for tourism and hospitality. I like the way he closed out by mentioning the way forward. If there is a political will at all levels, ease of doing business being put in place and implemented, and the basic infrastructure, that if we get it right with what we are doing, he believes that River State will move ahead. So let's give him a round of applause once more, Justice. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we will be moving to the next presenter. And the audience, please, we thank you for the participants. Just hang in there. When the three of them are done, we'll move into a dive talk and be able to ask our speakers questions directly and get more insights. So sharing my screen. Okay, we have the next speaker and I'll be introducing him. And that's no other person. Yes. Some of us came on board with this millennium. Okay, yes, he's back. Okay. So introducing our next speaker is an interesting speaker, which is who is known to most of us, Yibo Koko is the DG River State Tourism Development Agency and the CEO, Seki Brand. The program we're handling today, which is the first bite of Bonny, is being done in collaboration with River State Tourism Board Development Agency. And that's why we're having all this touch of investment from the chamber angle, which Dr. Emi Membre has represented. And we have Yibo Koko coming from the River State Tourism Development Agency. He is a filmmaker, art director, creative artist, and producer. Koko created the Shaky Dance drama, telling the story of River State people through dance. He is a voting member of the Nigeria Oscar Selection Committee. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we welcome Yibo Koko to this particular program.
Welcome, Mr. Yibo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'd like to thank conversation, and I'm also learning. For a doctor, it to travel long. Now, doctor, you.
I agree with you.
But let me take from the last part of Doc before I get into the matter, which is political will. Whatever we try to do, whatever Bonny is trying to do, if the energy is not a positive energy, if the body language of government is not a positive body language, we're going to just keep, moving around in circles, as we say, all motion and no action. And that is the tragedy of River State. Being a DG would, make me not speak as I want, but everybody knows I speak my mind as it is, considering and knowing that, one, the creative economy is a toolkit for sustainable growth. When people who are supposed to know that don't know it, then there's a problem to overall understanding of what you are doing right now. Beyond LNG, Bonny is known for the masquerades, Badawari House, Owogbo, Wilcox, or all the Owogbos. After that, what next? So thank God for the Bonny Investment and Tourism Expo with what you're doing, because that pushes the brand, further for people to understand. And I'm so happy that we have someone from Engineer Paquin Rabo from the Bank of Industry. I'm itching to hear from his own, so that I know what I'll say later or ask questions. But going forward, we first of all, the approach would be from the Bonny perspective. There's a story I would like to tell about Bonny, which happened in 1992, but let's leave that. Once you know, you become responsible for your knowledge. And once you understand that from Opobo, you get into Bonny, that's tourism as it were. From Degema, you go to Abonima. From Abonima, you go to Buguma. From Buguma, you go to Bakana. From Bakana, you go to Bile. You come back to Abuloma. You go to Okokalama. You go to Fimiama. You go to Amadiama. Or then you go to where Aruma Precom. Or you go to Rumokorosi. See, once you're able to do that locally, tourism begins to thrive. That means that before we talk about outbound, which is what happens really, because almost all the persons who are involved in tour agencies that would book tickets for Dr. Emi to travel, you see that they are all here in Port Harcourt. But at the same time, they have incentivizations for you to travel to those other areas, but inbound, nothing incentivizes them to do the same thing. So until the people themselves understand the basic, elementary, domestic knowledge of what tourism is in the first place, that it is being able to be hospitable, being able to speak well of yourself, being able to know the things about your backyard that will interest people. And once we become very deliberate with pushing these things out, then it becomes easy. And if you know that, for me, the ecosystem, thank God, like I said, the Bonny Investment Trust is doing this now, is understanding your ecosystem, the autonomous revenue generating capabilities of that ecosystem and what it portends, identifying the assets, monetizing the assets, and then the back of industry understanding again that intellectual property becomes your collateral to make a viable propositions of all of these things. Get collaborative efforts of people, to do the right documentations on how you will get certain amount of monies. That is when you're going to look for money, and the BOI person will talk about it. But from the local perspective, if you do not understand it yourself to sell it, who will market it for you? And that's the tragedy of what tourism is in Rivers State, because we see tourism, we see our art forms as a feel-good stuff, not as a viable, not as a toolkit for sustainability. And if you notice, this is 3 years and 10 months that I've been a DG for Rivers State Tourism Development Agency, where life, yes, I won't say a lot of things, maybe for posterity's sake, I would say. But going forward, what the agency has been able to do, because everybody's waiting for what? Canning Reef. And since approval has not come for Canning Reef to happen, no matter what we try to do, everybody wants the feel good, the party. So what the agency did and what Bonny is doing now is to grow the conversation to understanding what tourism, what the creative space is as a toolkit for sustainability. And that's why if you notice, the Ishoko people are doing their bicycle one. Igruta is doing, Andoni is doing their carnivals. Thank God for Kuchiri. They've moved up the ante to that. The Port Harcourt Agri Road Carnival is on. I think at Bonnyman they're doing. So what we have decided to do, or what we've been doing, is engaging people. And in Rivers State, over 157 events happened last year, and 100% of them were privately organized. All we do is just try our best to, be a part of it without giving them any financial support. So we have to frame what the tourism aspect, what people will gain from getting to Bonny. So let me use Bonny as a microcosm of what Rivers State is, because in every aspect of Rivers State, what you have in Bonny is what you have in Digima Creek. I know that, okay, forget the oil and gas and LNG, you know what I mean in terms of culture and the variety of the performing arts, so to speak. Bonny, you have armored tankers from the Nigerian Civil War littered around Bonny that you can lay stories around that for people to just to come to know about the Civil War. Bonny has a Bible from King George, the original King James version, the Bible there. That's a story all by itself. Bonny has Ajayi Crowder's installation, Abi. Yes, you have the church there. Bonny has a boat that is somewhere we don't sink, that comes up because of slave trade. Trust me. That alone, I'm not even talking about the colors and clatter of the beautiful culture of Bonny. These are things, that if you do not identify them as assets, like going to Singapore or going to Maldives, it's a culture. It's a way of life. It is how they have put it and monetized it that attracts the conversation to people to come into Bonny. But once we sell just oil there, when we sell the bile and angry conversations. Because if you go to Facebook, you'd see that the anger from the political gladiators, either APC or PDP, you have those with the you know what I mean, you know what's happening in River State already, you know. So those anger and the conversations form the algorithm when you do a search engine of River State. And the angry conversations creates a narrative that River State is not safe. And those are the statistics. Those are the things. I remember some months ago when they killed the policeman in Abu Dhabi, somewhere, I say the chair, I've forgotten where. But that conversation was all over the world. They amplified that conversation so much so that United States government put us with the Boko Haram kind of, you know, conversion in River State. They are telling their citizenry, don't come into River State. They say, okay, you can come to Port Harcourt, but River State, like, we're Bonny falls under River State. So these are the issues, you know, understanding what we have and deliberately putting out conversations that we push the negatives back. And when the Finima man is 100% comfortable with the Bonny man, and you don't have the tacit rivalries that occur on the island,
I think we're losing him.
in the world, you know, the value of creative economy measured by revenue and is about 2.3 trillion, 2.1 trillion in the world. Africa made less than 58 million of that. Nigeria is not even in the top 10. And the BOI idea, Nigeria is not even in the top 10 because we are not deliberate to understanding all that it is that the creative economy or tourism is a toolkit for sustainability. So the musicians like Burna Boy, like Tiwa Savage, Davido, you know, after Burna Boy said that from town, they have pushed that level differently. So the Afro music genre is what they see as tourism as a creative space. So individuals like you do what you do. And like Dr. Emmy would say, that the political will that is lacking is a danger to what we are. So if government, and who is government? Government are me and you, right? So you're doing what you're doing. So once the body language is that is strong, why not doing politics? I think the new governor is his body language is going towards there. So let us pray that that is strong for him anyway. But you see that once that conversation or that energy is seen, like you have Lagos as a metropolitan city where people just go and plug in. There's a generator working already. So come with your cable and just plug in, because the government is willing for entrepreneurship, is willing for commerce to thrive. And if that does not happen in our state, we're still going to go around in circles. And we know that we're local, but we've gone global. And that's what Seki is doing. And that's what we continue to do. So Bonny, let's go global. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Igbo Kikoko. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So in a nutshell.
Good one.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, Mr. Igbo Kikoko has been able to touch a whole lot. He has, but he started off with all the Mas, Abuloma, Koloma, all the names of the Koloma. So for us, I just said, oh, it's a good one. We just put a cruise boat together and start going to all the Mas villages, and then we'll be able to know that tourism has started in River State. That's on a lighter note. So from his topic, which is the potential of tourism and culture in igniting business growth in Bonny Island and River State. from what he has said, he has really pointed out that the people will have to be deliberate in pushing out our own messages. So even if we put a very nice concept and we're not deliberate in putting out that positive messaging on what we are doing. And he mentioned the key point, which is for us as entrepreneurs, monetizing the assets or the culture matters a lot. That the issues we have in River State is tourism is not seen as a toolkit for sustainability, but a feel-good activity. Therefore, more advocacy, which is like what we are doing now, is required. But at the end of this advocacy, by the time we get to the end of this first bite, we should be able to come up with a blueprint paper saying, this is what with the narrative, this is the conversation, this is what we've been able to get, and present it, and we have the implementation plan. Intellectual property, he mentioned about it and said, thank God there's a BOI here who will like help us to safeguard intellectual property and be able to fund the projects which will be coming out from the tourism aspect. There's a wrong narrative about River State. Just a little thing is packed as if it's all hell. And then River State is under that red flag. It takes me and you to change that narrative. And then the artifacts in Bonny, he cited it and said, even if we want to do tourism in Rivers in Bonny, we have a whole lot, which we need to go and compartmentalize. He talked about the armored tankers that were used during the Civil War, the Bible from King George, the Ajayi Crowther artifacts that are there in the church, the slave trade boats, which is sunk within the waters, and the culture of the people on its own, which is numerous. So the value proposition from tourism within the global space, which Nigeria is not even one of the 10, he ranked it about 2.3 billion. And with all of this summarized, we want to say a very big thank you to Iboko Bukoko for all these highlights, for opening our eyes to what the tourism space is. And thank you for this conversation, which will now ignite our further conversation. So a warm round of applause for him once more, please. Thank you. Okay, so we will get to the next speaker, which is now the money. Whenever we get to any event and we're listening to it, we do all the English speaking. What the entrepreneurs will be looking out for is, where do we get the money? How do we fund what we are saying? It's not a talk show. But in our house today, we're very glad that we have a subject matter expert that will be doing justice to this particular topic. And in no other person than Engineer Paquins Irabo, who is the regional manager at Bank of Industry Limited, South region. He's bringing over his 17 years of expertise in development finance, and his leadership spans with cross-project finance, strategy formulation, business improvement, marketing, automation, change management, quality management, and social impact investor. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me today as we welcome Engineer Paquins Irabo to this particular webinar. Welcome, Engineer.
Thank you so much, Constance. It's a pleasure to be in the house. Just confirm you can hear my voice.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, you're muted. Can you unmute? Okay.
Can you hear me? I'm not muted. Can you hear me?
Well.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so let me quickly appreciate the good work that the Bonny Chamber of Commerce and the River State Tourism Development Agency has put in place. I mean the Bonny Investment and Tourism Expo. And I want to appreciate Dr. Amy Mebere Otaji and for his eloquent and presentation, and also for the presentation by the last speaker, Yibo Koko, the Director General of River State Tourism and Development Agency. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a great pleasure. I don't take this for granted because given an opportunity to speak is one of the greatest opportunity any man can have, because everything starts with a word. Everything starts with a word. and that is very, very important that we take note of it. How we communicate, what we say per time, go a long way to create the kind of environment that we live in. I want to start my conversation with this statement that businesses and not religion are the most effective and efficient platform for the transformation of any people and of any nation. If we understand the role that businesses play in transformation of a people, of a nation, then we will understand that we ought not to be the one that is weeping. Entrepreneurs ought not to be the one at the receiving end, but entrepreneurs should be the one leading the conversation. Dr. Amy made mention of having political will as one of the most important things that must be in place going forward if we must make progress. Political will at all levels. Yimbo Koko help us to drive that home to say that that political will, we should not just see it as government, that the government is me and you. Now, more often than not, we do not have so much faith in that word that government is between me and you. Somewhere in our mind, we still believe that, look, there are these people that have the authority right now. They are more powerful in any society. No, that is not true. You and I, we are the most important and the most powerful force, because what changes a people, what changes the narrative, what changes an environment, all flow from within us. This program, this Bonny Investment and Tourism Expo, I want to believe, nobody can argue it, the idea to start it was not born in the heart of everybody at the same time. One person initiated it. Somebody initiated, and today we are all here because an idea came into the heart of a person. But he was able to elevate the conversation so that there was not a buy-in. So today, I am in Port Harcourt, and I guess there are some people that are not in Rivers State that are listening and part of this conversation today because an idea was born. We have taken it to this level of seminars, workshop, businesses. I want to let you know that ideas can actually elevate us so that we are the one that is dictating what any succeeding government does in office. If our government, for example, throw money a lot during elections because we feel that, oh, they have access to the treasury and so they afford to share money. Imagine if Bill Gates was a citizen of Rivers State, Elon Musk is a citizen of Rivers State. Can Rivers State Treasury ever threaten Elon Musk and Bill Gates? If we are looking for who will share the most money, can anybody compete with these two guys if they were citizens of Rivers State? These are people whose businesses are what the treasury of nations put together. So what am I trying to emphasize? That as entrepreneurs, we must understand that those that change the narrative in any society, they are the entrepreneurs. So there are three main stakeholders in every business ecosystem, and I want us to understand before I talk briefly about how you can access Bank of Industry Fund. We have the first stakeholder group, I call them the sowers. The seed, they are the seed givers. The first stakeholder group is the seed givers. The second is the sowers. And the third is the fruit eaters. The seed givers are those that are currently in charge of resources, as we know it. It could be banks, it could be government, it could be that investor, it could be that venture capitalist. They have the seed today, they have the resources. Now the fruit eaters are all of us in the we can call the masses, everybody in the society. that want to consume one product or the other to satisfy their needs. So in every society, you always have these two categories of people. Those that have seeds and those that have needs, which are the fruit eaters. They are always available. The people that you always find in short supply are the sowers. Interestingly, the seed that is in the hands of the seed givers, the government, everybody talk about government have resources. I can tell you the resources of government can never meet the needs of their people. No, it can never meet. The resources of any bank cannot solve the problem of the society. No. The human society, like in economics, we are told that human wants are insatiable. So you don't have enough seed resources in the hands of government, in the hands of banks to meet the needs of the society. So what then is the solution? You must bring in some special breed of people. They are called the sowers, and they are the entrepreneurs. These are the people that have the grace. These are the people that have the capacity, that have the skill to do more with less. These are people that can grow funds. These are the people that can turn the seed of the seed giver and turn it into fruits, so that the fruit eaters, which are the masses or the market, can now eat of their fruit and still have seed in order to solve the problem of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, seeds does not meet needs. You must transform seed into fruits, because fruit has both bread and seed, and it is fruit that meets the needs of the people, so that the fruit eaters will eat the bread to solve their needs of today and plant the seed inside the fruit so that they can meet the needs of tomorrow. So where we always have problem is that we don't have innovative businessmen. We don't have innovative entrepreneurs that can look at the present situation and say, yes, this is the nation I am in. There is corruption, there is challenges. Put all that into an equation and come up with a solution that take care of everything, and still you are able to meet the needs of the people and still have a surplus. That is what fruit is all about. You are able to meet the needs of the people and you still have surplus. That is what they call returns. So not until we are able to transform ourselves and leave the level of, oh, we are the ones that we are the victim, and say, no, let this problem that I face today, let it provoke the seed that is within me in order to address the situation of my nation. That is when we'll be able. Otherwise, hold this kind of seminar in 20 years, we are still going to talk about the same thing, political will, still going to talk about the same thing, corruption, we're still going to talk about the same thing, there is no infrastructure, or there is corruption, there is no lack of infrastructure, there is no ease of doing business, is not wonderful. All of them are but opportunities for new businesses to come on board. Why I do not endorse that corruption should thrive, this should thrive, but I am saying, Nigerians, we have complained enough. Let us put on another mindset and say, look, what can I do with the situation on ground? And come up with solutions that does not neglect or that does not discount this problem. These problems are only but factors. They are only but variables in my business plan. I know they exist and I can look around how I can take care of it. I've come up with a definition for business. And it's important that we hear this. Business, for me, is an ecosystem that guarantees the continuous satisfaction of the multidimensional interests of enterprising stakeholders through the exchange of mutually beneficial goods and services. The key words there is that when you are doing business, understand that you must operate within an ecosystem. And this ecosystem have enterprising stakeholders. And these stakeholders have multi-dimensional interests. You have the customer, you have the suppliers, you have the employees, you have the government, you have the lenders, you have the community. You must understand that all these stakeholders have their interests. And if you are going to, your business must be a going and a growing concern, you must look for a way to meet all their interests in a continuous manner. The day you fail to meet the interests of these stakeholders, your business grinds to a halt. And this is the very reason why an entrepreneur does not see his profit as the front line. This is the reason why profit in business is called the bottom line, because you must have made the interest of every other stakeholder before you as an entrepreneur can say, I have profit. You must have shared benefit to your customer. The first line of people you meet their interest is called the customer. They provide you the revenue. That is the first line of sharing of benefits. You must satisfy the market, the customer. Then the next line is cost of goods sold. You must satisfy the suppliers of your business. The next line is operational expenses, where you begin to talk of your employees. You begin to talk of your business premises. All these, they have interest. For your employees, it is welfare, good welfare package. For your business premises, if you have a landlord, it is for rent. You must pay rent. So you are satisfying the benefit, the interest of every stakeholder that ensure that your business is a going and a growing concern. It is at the last line that you can say, I have profit. If you don't have this mindset in business, your willingness to satisfy the multidimensional interests of your stakeholders, you have not started a business. And that is why the work of an entrepreneur is very, very complex, because he's a man that put on so many thinking cap. He's thinking of everybody. He's the father of everybody. He's trying to create for everybody. But how many of our entrepreneurs have developed this leadership capacity? How many of them have developed this management ability to succeed? And I can tell you, with my 17 years of experience in bank of industry, the number one problem we have today is entrepreneurs that don't have this capacity to build businesses that can grow fund. We only have those that come to us are people that are looking for fund to grow their business, whereas they have not actually built businesses that can grow fund. You don't need to borrow to prove that you have built a business. No, you can build a business as a seed in a small, from your house, and you will show that this is already a business, because within that small level, you can satisfy all the stakeholders and you're already making profit as a bottom line. Then you only come to the bank to take loan to expand what is already working. Because let's be very careful, loans does not make a business to succeed. Loans only expand what is succeeding. So if you have a bad business and you go and get a loan, you will make your business bad, even worse. But if you have already a good business and you get a loan, you only expand the opportunities and you grow your business. So ladies and gentlemen, Bank of Industry have huge appetite to fund businesses in Rivers State, fund businesses in the South-South. I am privileged to be the regional manager of the South-South. As at September, we have given out 55 billion to the South-South, and 53% of that 55 billion are investment in Rivers State alone. That means Rivers State have the lion's share of all our investment in the South-South. And I can tell you, there is no reason why Rivers State should not be the highest, not Rivers State now, the South-South, since we are the one that actually produce, we are the sustainer of the nation. We should have more investment in the South-South of Nigeria than any other region. But as bankers, we don't start businesses by ourselves. Not until there is a viable businesses, money cannot flow. Dr. Amy said investment is shy. It only goes to areas where he's sure that it can be safeguarded and it can bring returns. So bankers, whether Bank of Industry as a development finance institution or commercial bank, they have a lot of resources. I can tell you that for free. The challenge we are having right now is viable businesses. Not viable business because I have an idea. I just woke up and I think that this will thrive. Oh, that is not banking. You look for a venture capitalist to help you experiment. For banking, it is loan for tested business. And what I have said, you don't need to test this business and you are already across Nigeria. No, test it in a very small way. Within, you can start from your home. Just show how this works. When it is already, you already have 1, 2, 3 customers, and you have been repeating the process, and it is sustainable. Then you can come for business expansion through loan. So how do you get to access Bank of Industry fund? Bank of Industry has offices across the 6 states of the South region, and in Port Harcourt, we have both our state office and our regional office along plot 122A, Iwoma House, plot 122A, General Diria Road. And that is GRA Phase 3, Port Harcourt. And for you to access loan for Bank of Industry have tried to remove what we call the major hindrance to people, entrepreneurs in Nigeria accessing loans, which is collateral. And I think it was Yibo Koko that mentioned that collateral. So what Bank of Industry have done, knowing fully well that our people are challenged in terms of collateral, we say, okay, we would even support even startup, but up to the tune of 10 million. You can come to Bank of Industry to get a loan to either start your business, which I personally will not even support for you to use loan to start business, but BOI is offering that service. And if you have started a little, you want to expand up to the tune of 10 million. If you are buying equipment or you are buying your raw materials for whatever you are doing, you can access loan up to 10 million without asking you for landed property. Nobody is saying that you must have a land in your village or in Port Harcourt with a CFO. No. All that you need is social capital. And what is that social capital? Is that you are able to provide 2 guarantors. People that know you, your uncle, your aunties, that are civil servants or they are professionals or they are businessmen like you that can vouch for your integrity. With that, you are able to access loan up to 10 million. Above 10 million to 1 billion to 2 billion to 5 billion to 10 billion or whatever amount of money that you will need to expand your businesses, the law of Nigeria demand that you must collateralize it. And the collateral we take is landed property in only capital cities in Nigeria. So you may not have in Port Harcourt, if you have in Lagos, if you have in Kaduna, any capital city of Nigeria, if you value your asset and it is 2 times the amount of money that you want to borrow, you are able to access our loan. And it doesn't necessarily have to be yours. If your uncle or your business partner don't have that property, we do what we call third-party collateral mortgage. So you are also able to access our loan. And what are the areas of our investment? The areas that we concentrate on. For Bonny Island, let me try to narrow it down to Bonny Island. There is huge opportunity right now for us to look at how education is done in Nigeria. I have an initiative called Rebuilding Nigeria with Ease. Ease stands for Education Around Sustainable Enterprises. And what that means is that we can rethink education. Instead of just allowing our children to go through 16 years, 18 years of schooling and coming out without any relevant marketable skill, why can't we turn our primary, secondary, university, technical colleges into the business apprenticeship model, whereby we are we are actually setting up different trade in these schools where our children can deepen the practical of the theory they were taught in class and know how businesses are done. These are not workshops. These are real businesses that can be that can be cited within schools. For example, you set up a fashion and design hub in a school. The school provide the market because the hub will be producing the uniform for the student, while the student is using the hub to learn how to sew. You can do that for catering. You can do that for ICT. You can do that for wedding. You can do that for virtually all the things we need in the society. So that will be a perfect blend between, or a perfect connection between the people in town and the people in Ghana. So education, hospitals, or the tourism sector, which my brother represents, all can benefit if only you can show a commercially viable business model. I will want to stop at this point. I can see our time is already 2:12, and I know I've not been able to cover everything, but maybe the questions we address it. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage each and every one of you. You are the savior that Nigeria is waiting for. And your altar that you will use to provide this salvation to Nigeria is the business altar. I want people to see business as an altar, but it's an altar where you offer yourself to save or to solve or to end the sufferings of the world. It is an altar for the offering of your life to put an end to the sufferings of the world. We have suffered enough, and we are waiting for you to come back with that fruit from your own body, that fruit, that your product and services that can put an end to a particular problem in Nigeria. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I've been writing a whole lot. Thank you. Can you give me a round of applause, please?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Engineer Parkwins Irabo, who has a 17 years experience, and I'm sure it's even beyond that, because if we put the career and add his own personal experience and passion, we can see that he has a lot to offer. Thank you so much. So in a nutshell, what he has presented, the business and religion, which is a vital role in transforming the nation, and who are the players? The players is just yourself and myself. He emphasized on Elon Musk and Facebook. If they were citizens of Rivers State, what would have happened? They already generate more revenue than any nation. So if Rivers State had had such entrepreneurs, we would have known what it would have added. He mentioned 3 stakeholders, which are the seed givers, the sowers, and the fruit givers. He mentioned the people that are involved in the seed givers, which are the banks, the government, the venture capitalists, and the fruit eaters, which are just every one of us who are willing to consume. But there's a gap. The sowers are the people that have the capacity to do more and have the innovation. So he talked about the issues, which is just scarcity of the innovators who can come up with solutions and be able to harness a return on investment. That's the gap. And I think we should all focus on that and ask ourselves, who are we? Are we the sowers? Are we the fruit eaters? Who are we? Or we are all looking up to the first people, which are the seed givers. And he mentioned all the other things, which is like how the business mindset should go about, and mentioned that viable businesses are the very, very key issues which Bank of Industry has faced in providing solutions. They are there to help businesses with startups of small businesses up to about 10 million without collateral, but it has all the terms and conditions attached, which has been reduced from family and business associates guaranteeing you. But above 10 million, will now go through the collateral platform. Investments in Bonny Island, he has mentioned that harnessing the business and the ecosystem will be a worth more approach to getting that done. In the Bonny Chamber of Commerce, we have our businesses who are already thriving. I remember from what he said, not really advisable personally to start a business with a loan. Start small in your own house. But if you say that's the only platform, make sure you have studied it very well. China is succeeding because in their homes, they have success stories. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Engineer Rock. So a round of applause once more for him. You can open up and applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so going back to, we are running behind time, but we'll just try and take it. Yeah. We are now moving into the power talk. We are moving into the power talks, and this is where we're opening up to the audience for an interactive discussion. We've had the first speaker, which is on investment opportunities, Dr. Emi Membre Otaji. He has highlighted all the opportunities that exist and the issues. We've also had the second speaker discussing the potential of tourism and culture in igniting business growth in Bonny Island and River State, Ikoko. Same thing, he has mentioned a whole lot and given us exposition to what is really required. The last speaker has been from the financial support and incentive, while fostering collaboration and networking. He has not only spoken as a BOI expert, he has spoken from the real mindset of an entrepreneur and what Nigeria requires to grow. Remember, our focus is on Bonny Investment and Tourism Expo. We are here to learn from the subject matter experts. They have delivered, and this is the time to now talk. I can see hands up. So if you have questions and you put up your hand, we'll call you and you ask your questions, but briefly so that our time will now, we can lock in within our time. So Mia, the floor is yours, please. Unmute yourself. Mia, go ahead, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, all. First, I'd like to thank the organizers. This is really excellent, and I'm very happy that I was opportune to run into this discussion. My name is Mienye. I am the Director of Labor in the Federal Ministry of Labor, and I am based in Lagos. I oversee the Southwest Zone, was a proud Bonny daughter. And this conversation is long overdue. I will start with Mr. Engineer Rabo. Thank you very much. Excellent submission. I also happen to be a career guide, business coach, and a financial educator. And he has said everything that needs to be said. Now, what I want to add is we need to first test the pulse of Bonny people and let them see the viability of making our culture a sellable business. If they don't see it as a business, it's going to be very difficult to get their buy-in, and then let them feel inclusive. Once there's some kind of inclusivity and letting everybody take responsibility and see the viability, the business viability of being involved, then we can begin to push this agenda. And then I also agree with him that it has to start small. If they see that one investor or two investors are starting something in a small way, you begin to, it enables you to measure the pulse of the people and what you need to add before it grows. I think well, I know it's the best way possible. But well done. I'll be open to supporting whichever way I can. I'm really very excited about this conversation, and well done to the team. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor, for your submission. Thank you so much. I think it's quite just a contribution, and we do appreciate your submission. So we have Synergy, which is Dr. Dan Oyetulam. Go ahead with your question, or yes, Dr. Dan Oyetulam. After that, Dr. Engineer Dimeri Green will take up. All right, go ahead.
All right, thank you so much, DG, and thank you for all the presenters this afternoon. It's really interesting and a privilege to be part of this webinar this afternoon. Particularly the last presenter talked about loan. I want to find out, I just want to ask a question concerning some of the emerging banks that we have, the likes of Jay's and Taj Bank. They tend to have facilities that they say are interest-free, especially for entrepreneurs that are just startups and maybe those who are trying to scale up. I want to find out what our last speaker, what do you think about it? Is this something that a new growing business should venture into, or what will be your advice? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, Engineer Rabo, it's for you to answer, please. The floor is open.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me appreciate the lady that spoke, Mayor, and Dr. Dan Oyetulem Synergy for their contribution. Dr. Daniel asked specifically if I will recommend non-interest banking. Non-interest banking is one aspect of banking which is gaining ground in Nigeria, and the aspect that is actually being pushed by most banks is the Sharia compliant non-interest banking. But what the CBN set out to license was generally non-interest banking, not really Sharia. I could understand that, okay, the Sharia angle must have prepared it, but globally there is non-interest banking in different parts of the world. In Japan, they have been practicing this for a long time. What they do is that instead of calling it interest, for the one that Nigerian banks are practicing, instead of calling it interest, they call it markup. So it's not actually so much different from your interest that you pay, but just the terminology. Because even Bank of Industry have some product along that line. And for our northern brothers, we have been able to come up with some products just to satisfy those that don't want to do anything with interest in Nigeria, since we're a national bank. But it is actually the same thing. The same appraisal, the same consideration that any bank would do for a normal appraisal of a business proposal. That is the same thing that will be done. So if it doesn't pass the normal interest lending, it will not also fly, even if you call it a non-interest. If it is done the way it ought to be done, what it means is that there won't be need to talk about collateral at all, because in non-interest, you are almost like a partner. It is just like you are a venture capitalist taking shares in your business and sharing both profit and losses. But the challenge in having that kind of situation in Nigeria, I can tell you that in Nigeria, where transparency is still very, very low, if you go into non-interest banking with most Nigerian businesses, they will never declare profit. And if they don't declare profit, the bank will never get their return. And that cannot be a going and a growing. Most companies in Nigeria, their corporate governance level is so low, and that is why they cannot even attract funding in the first place. There is a capital market. So even if you are going for non-interest, why not also build your businesses and go to the capital market? There is a window for SMEs to be able to attract private investment, equity. So you won't even be talking about anything interest at all. It's not a loan, it's an investment. But it required that you would have elevated your corporate governance of your business. Thank you. I hope that helped.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you so much. Okay. So Engineer Dimeri Green.
Yeah, I sincerely have to thank the three speakers. They have actually done a lot to open up the windows of opportunities. From Dr. Membre, you open up all the opportunities that had been in Rivers State from the time immemorial, pre-independence. The good news is that Bonny has always played a commercial hub with all that. But when you look at Bonny today, it has always played a commercial hub. Still, even with the petroleum activity, it continued to play commercial hub. The area I just wanted, in view of the fact that you have played a very significant role in the activities, commercial activities, and other positive ends in Rivers State. The challenge Rivers State is having in the outside world is the constant demarketing of Rivers State. beyond Rivers State, there's a lot of energy spent on the marketing Rivers State. And Rivers State has all you mentioned the seaports, 2 seaports, 2 we have an airstrip at the nav base, and we have the international airport. We have roads leading here. Definitely, if you see the only road leading to Rivers State have been knocked out completely. And I consider it's a deliberate act by the federal government to see how well we can continue. How could you see how well we can open up Rivers State, change the narrative of Rivers State? So that goes on to address the issue you talked about, the political will. How do we get across to those that hold the steer of the politics to understand that some of the activities they are doing, or to help to change that narrative on how well people no longer see Rivers State as a destination where you're at risk of losing your capital if you bring it. Because if we continue to hunt capital, hunt activities like the way Lagos is doing, there's a lot of activities. Everybody tends to move their businesses to Lagos because there's an enabling environment there. We here who are not into politics or into governance will not want to look at it here. And that is why most times businesses tend to move towards Lagos or Ogun State, because the state has made it, create some enabling environment for business to thrive. So that is just what I want to do in terms of contribution to your a very important topic you have shared with us. On the presentation by Ibokuku, thank you so much. You have opened up another flood gate of opportunity. But I think that what we could do as a chamber is to see how well we can engage the various cultural organizations on how best they can convert a lot of pastime. We have our cultural, various cultures, coming from area ceremony to various things, are things that we see as pastime, or we have not seen it as something that can be converted to commercial values. So I think, DG, this is something we internally have to work and to see how well we can reach out to all the various organizations that there's an opportunity where they could convert those pastime and really see how well money can be made out of it. Could be like a group competitions where people could come and watch, or people look forward to it. The good thing now is that with LNG, we now soon will have a road linking off from Port Harcourt to Bonny, and everybody look forward to going to Bonny to really have all this Singapore and everything. If it is well managed and well coordinated, Bonny will reflect all that, because I don't see anything in Singapore that Bonny do not have that potential to do. So I sincerely thank you both for that. Another area I would like us to take a little bit in, because no matter how beautiful the idea sounds, no matter how well structured, money, funding is the key thing. I know that 10 million is minimum you could do with that, but we are looking at bigger businesses that will run into big time. I know this is not the only opportunity. So what we would like is that if we have to have our contacts so that we can cash on this and ride on it, on how well we are not asking them to give us money, but see how well we can partner to support, because the banks will always, no matter how much you want to do, the bank will always tell you your counterpart contribution. But I think with BOI, even if we're doing the counterpart contribution, it's going to be on a favorable end. So I sincerely thank the 3 speakers for what you are bringing on the table, and a lot of skills are falling out from our eyes, and to see how well we can move forward to expand whatever intent we have, and to put money on the real commercial hub map of this, if not in Africa, but at least in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I think on that note, we do appreciate you, and we'll have to round up and get to the last aspect of this topic, which is basically, let me see, where do we have it on the agenda? Closing remarks. Thank you very much, Engineer Green, at least touching all the three speakers. We have to introduce Dame Carol Allison, the CEO Posh Black Gold Ventures Limited, and a Governing Council member of Bonny Chamber to take us on the closing remarks.
Thank you, my DG, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Madam. Welcome.
Good afternoon. The theme of this webinar, Igniting Investment Opportunities Amidst Energy, Culture, and Exploration. Firstly, I would like to thank and appreciate our Heavenly Father for the enablement to put such informative, successful webinar in place, despite the various web challenges and network issues. Before we all head out, I would like to thank everyone who showed up for this afternoon webinar. Massive accolades to our three speakers. Dr. Emi Membri-Otaji, a man I always love to listen to. Second Deputy President Nasima, who discussed extensively on the investment opportunity of Rivers State and Bonny in particular, comparable to Singapore. He said to sow money, harvest rewards by growing trees. Our second speaker, Mr. Yibo Koko, our Seki Maestro, DG Rivers State Tourism Development Agency, and CEO Seki Brand, who expatiated on the need to have a positive outlook to investment opportunities. He says tourism begins when we can connect to other neighbors seamlessly, especially when we can intentionally tell our own story to attract investors, and collaborative efforts to sell and market tourism as it relates to Bonny and its investment opportunity. Third but not the least, Engineer Parkwins Ehiabin Irabo, General Manager, Bank of Industry Limited. You took us on ways to secure finances in our investment strides. You said the BOI has a challenge of finding viable businesses to support. You said funds can be accessed across your 6 branches. And you made us to realize that there are 3 key factors: the seed givers, the fruit eaters, and of course, the middleman, who is also the sower. Thank you so much for all these insights. It's been an amazing day. And before I leave, I would like to definitely thank and give a big hug to our phenomenal event team, especially the DG extraordinaire of this uprising chamber, Mrs. Constance Nwokejiobi. She has always been spot on in making conscious efforts in positioning Bosima in the world map. Finally, with our amazing and well-experienced speakers, we can agree that our day is richly fulfilled. Please watch out for follow-up actions and updates on this webinar and maybe future webinars. We can always contact or reach the DG of this great chamber on any concerns about the chamber. I pray that you all enjoy the rest of the day in peace. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank
madam.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So in our next topic, which is now the closeout, I wonder where that thing is. Okay. Which is now the announcing the next activities and then the closeout. Okay. Not coming up. Okay, so announcing our next activities, where we are going to from now. We will be Okay, yes, thank you so much. So announcement of future events and then sign out. December 12, 2024, we will be having the unveiling / launch of first Bonny Investment and Tourism Expo at Hotel Presidential. Time will be 11 a.m. The second week, 2023. Oh, sorry, December 12, 2023. Then second week of February 2024, we'll be having our second webinar, and the focus will still be on the digital economy, marine and blue economy, manufacturing, film industry, and culture. So we will be bringing subject matter experts again. We'll keep delving into it, keep producing. This is the first time Bonny is moving into this type of expo, and all your contributions, we are going to take care of it and make sure that we come up with a sustainable and implementable workable document that we will say, yes, we are now on track. Third week of February, we'll be having a strategic launch, another strategic launch in Abuja with other stakeholders from the ministries and the embassies. And March 4th to 8th, we will be expecting you in Bonny. And at that time, all these that we have built up, we will be getting on ground. And that's where Ibokoko will come up and harness his team of culture. We'll have Dr. Emmy Membre come on ground. What you have said that Bonny has, we will run it through you and say, this is it now. We now want it to be bankable. And we'll now have BOI saying, yes, you've been innovative. Now we can put our funds behind it. Who are the entrepreneurs? Who are these innovators that want to be the sowers for this particular project? We will be able to come up with those and not make it a talk show. Thank you so much. So we have a special thank you to our partners. This event is powered by Bonny Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, powered by River State Tourism and Development Agency, RSTDA, powered by Bonny Kingdom, the king and his Amiable and his chiefs in council. It is endorsed by Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, NIPC, and endorsed by Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, NACIMA, and the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC. Sponsored by the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, NLNG, Hotel Presidential Port Harcourt, Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC. You also have a part to be part of the sponsors. We have exhibition hub. The event that will be taking place December 12th will be showcasing serious exhibitors. And we wish to invite you at that. Letters are being given, but we will try and make it hybrid as well so that you can participate. It's a closed door event. However, the exhibition is open to the public to come and view. So thank you so much, all our speakers. And if we just on a last note, if any of our speakers would want to just give his parting notes, we still have just 1 minute so that we now draw the curtain. Any of our speakers, a show of hand, or we say thank you.
Thank you.
Well, me,
thank you.
I will say the thank you and then also reiterate. If people can fly from here and go to Port of Spain, Trinidad, go to Bahamas, any of us who have been there will tell you there's no difference between those islands and Bonny. Singapore, yes, have grown. It's a first world, it's not third world. But they grew from bottom up, from shipping and maritime, as we said, just as we can do. Look, let me tell you, in about the time Nigeria was created, forgotten the exact date, Singapore was part of this country. Was one of not Indonesia, not Indonesia, the other
Malaysia,
country,
sir.
Malaysia, and
Malaysia, yes.
They took them out. Oh, you are a burden. Singapore, go. You are a burden. Good leadership, political will, change their narrative. Today, Malaysia is like third world. Like, meanwhile, the one that they threw away, the burden, we are no good person. First world.
The stone the builder rejected.
So it's first world. Yeah, so that is how it is. So it is important that we know that leadership, I'm happy. What drives me, that gets me involved in Bonny each time is the kingdom, the involvement of the kingdom, because that is it, the involvement of the kingdom. And then, of course, the chamber is driving it. You have it. People, as I said, Bahamas, people go to Port of Spain. They are February, this thing that they go, this Brazil Carnival, Trinidad Carnival. You go there full. So you can imagine all the businesses, the travels that will come to hotels, eating, and all that. Bonny, your time is now by the grace of God. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Not be prayer, maybe not be to pray. Maybe not say me I be practical person. Why you they pray? You must be deliberate. Not be just to come, sit down, kneel down, they do. You see, they'll tell me they talk there, Indo Waka go there, they return. Bonny still there where he did over the years. Now the Bonny people, when I talk say government now if Bonny people like now where this one they start, I don't see the outlining things when I go do between now December, February to March. That is deliberate. Like is it the mayor who spoke? You have to go back and involve the Bonny people themselves.
Yeah.
You must if you know if they don't follow you, they do this matter.
Yes.
Now so you go be like say, now I get a few and I want your chop or I want to take us chop.
Yes.
Now so we did. So we must go back. Why is it that look at River State as we did with all the Yingi there, Thelma, they work with us. With all the things that we did a revenue-based financing for 100 billion to 4 trillion. We got Ernst & Young to rejig the River State Tourism Development setup. Yingi is there, Thelma know there. The language, the government, they I don't want to even talk anything. I don't want to say it there. So
don't talk or you say government.
Yeah, so I get few days to come out, 3 days to come out.
Okay.
No, but but what I'm saying is that it must be deliberate. Look at Seki. The Dubai government alone, just for what they saw, they tagged it at a $10 million. Not just the performative, not even as a brand. And the second brand was given a golden visa, which is an investment opportunity for us. So that's why we have access to go to Dubai at any given time. Now, Bonny people must also know that the culture, while our art forms are ingrained and instilled in the mythological part of our narrative, they must not allow the mystery of it bedevil the art form. I don't know if you understand the language I just speak now.
Yeah.
Because you see, the beauty of Bonny, forget LNG, forget all those, do maritime return, culture, the way of life. Now you go attract people, they enter inside that town. But when you allow church them, begin influence the conversations, where the Chirogbo them go turn to crusade ground instead of the usual place to do what you go do. And then even those where they play the masquerade, when they take them do too much juju, go pursue people who say where they're very pious and where they go Anglican church every time. So there must be a balance. Well, I know we'll talk anything. I'm readily available, to assist and whatever experience. Tell me, stop laughing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bo. Thank you. Just to add to what he said, I mean, this whole conversation, and I'm sure it was when Dr. Engineer Parkins mentioned, he said the idea came from one person and then ignites with the next and the next. I did travel to Dominican Republic. That was 2021 before the COVID. And in the tourism space, what happened? Yeah, one of the spaces that they took me to was a farmland. And by the time I paid $100 to just go and see Popo, and I said, oh, my village is a lot better than this. I mean, Bonny, we have all it takes. So thank you so much, Iboko, for that, spotlighting that. So Engineer Parkins, do you have a parting note?
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
One of the things that I see, one of the things I feel I should really highlight, which I'm so surprised that the people of Bonny Island, because it's people that will turn anything, the spirit will not do it. I quite agree when somebody says it's not just prayer. The Spirit, we have prayed enough. It's just that we don't know the answer to prayer. The answer to prayer is an idea. God does not come down to help people. He just inspire you with an idea of what to do. You must still do the work. But he just said it. So prayer is not in success equation, it's in revelation equation, where you get to know what to do. I think from the conversation here today, I just hope that one or two persons have been inspired of, okay, this is the way to go. But what do I want to stress in Bonny that is going for Bonny that many cities in Nigeria don't have is the constant power that is in Bonny. One of the challenges of industrialization of any nation is power because everything runs on energy. Bonny boasts of almost 24 hours, 7 days, 247 power. So it should have been a great industrial hub because we are talking about competitiveness of products. So you can actually produce cheaper in Bonny and ship it either to other African countries or to other parts of Nigeria. Bonny should have been turned into an industrial hub because you have every industrialist will tell you power is our greatest problem. And that is not so much of a problem in Bonny Island. Please, that is one area that people should think of. If you have an investment power, I was just talking to somebody that wants to set up a 12,000 poultry, and I'm excited. I'll be having a meeting with him in my office first thing tomorrow morning, and he's from Bonny Island. So please let people understand that they already have something going for them in Bonny, and they should maximize it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. So on that note, I would like to thank everyone again once more for being part of this program and having done all our rundown. Thank you, Thelma. Thank you, Yengi. Thank you, the team. Thank you, the First Bite team. And thank you, the strategic planning team of Bonny Chamber of Commerce, the President, Sir Amaria Hart, and the King, His Majesty Edward Pepple, the second, with all the long names. Thank you so much. So see you next time. This webinar will sign up again in February, but meanwhile, we look forward to having you December 12th, 2023 at Hotel Presidential. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, my DG. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. It's just that we signed. Okay, we should have taken a pic, but it's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Namdi.